Whether you have a small garden or a large area to plant, starting your plants from seed can be very rewarding and can save you a lot of money. You're in the garden with Patrick. Well, you're actually in my garage right now because it's beginning of February and the weather is a little cold still, especially for planting and starting your seeds. But I want to save you a little bit of money this spring and for your spring garden. And the way you're going to do that is by planting all of your plants from seed. It's really not that hard. It's actually a lot of fun, very rewarding, and doesn't take a lot of skill to do. There's just a few tips that I'm going to share with you today that's very important when you start your seeds for your spring garden plants. I'm also going to show you how you can upcycle some of your products that you've used for other things, and we can use those actually for our seed starting too. As we get closer to spring, you're going to start seeing all of these vegetable plants in the garden centers, the big box stores, and you're going to be shocked at how much some of these run. Last year, some of the big box stores were selling tomato plants for $6 or $8. And that can be a little crazy, especially if you're on a budget. So if you want to try and save a little bit of money, I'm going to show you today how we can do that by upcycling and recycling some of our soil. And I'm going to put a couple of links down below on some previous videos that I've done on seed starting and reusing or rejuvenating your soil. So if you want to take a look at those, and while you're at it, hit that like button for me if you would. And don't forget to subscribe if this content is important for you and so you find this of some value. So what I want to show you today is how you can take a $2, $3 packet of seeds and how you're going to use that, and you're going to have a tremendous amount of seeds or plants that you can put for this garden coming up in the spring. So instead of spending money on some of those plants that are in the garden center or the big box stores, you're going to try to save a lot of money by buying a pack of seeds. And you know, these are like $2 to $3 depending on where you go. If you go to the dollar store, same seeds, exactly the same seeds that you're going to buy at the big box store. This packet here would be about $3. And if you go to the dollar store, you're going to get 4 packs for $1. So that's what's really, and this, again, these are all the same seeds. So if you're not going to have a large garden, it might be something that you want to take a look at and purchase your seeds from the dollar store, because the difference is a packet of this, you're going to probably get 20, maybe 30 seeds in here for $3. With the dollar store, you're going to get maybe 10 seeds or so, depending on what you're purchasing. And, you know, so if you're a small gardener, you don't need to have 30 seeds. Now, if you want to share with a neighbor or a friend, buy 2 or 3 or 4 different varieties of the things that you would like, and share your seeds with your friends, your gardening friends. So there's all kinds of ways you can do that too. So today what I want to do is I want to show you a couple of things that I do in my garden and what we do to save money. Everything is about saving money, especially these days. So what I'm going to show you is a couple of first very, very important tips on what you're going to do with your soil. But here's just kind of what we do in my garden here. So how many of you have purchased, you know, different plants, petunias or different things that are in these pots? And then of course the winter is here and the things have died already now. So what do you do with this soil? Well, you can recycle this soil. And what we're basically going to do is we're going to take this. I've already taken out all the roots and the stems and everything from here. And we're just going to just dump this in one of these little totes, okay? So we're going to put that in here, and then we're just going to kind of mix that in with some of my soil that I already have. Over the course of the spring and the summer and even the fall, I collect all of my old soil or potting soil in one of these trash bins. Of course, it has a top on it. And what we do is, this is full, and so I dump that into this tote. And that's going to be a great, simple, easy, and inexpensive, and really free at this point, seed starting mix. Now, if you don't feel like this is the best seed starting mix, you can purchase some seed starting mix. I have gone through different things, different places, and purchased the different seed starting mixes that they have. There's a couple that are really good, but there's some that are not very good. And so let me tell you really what you're looking for in something like a good seed mix, okay? So if you can see here with this particular soil that I've kind of recycled, it has these little white particles. These are what you call perlite. And then for the most part, this is peat moss or cocoa coir. And the cocoa coir or peat moss is what you really want to have with your seed starting mix. You want to have something very light and fluffy with your seed starting mix. You don't want something heavy, some things that have a lot of bark in them. And again, I'll show you a couple of examples of that. And that's the kind of dirt or soil that you do not want when you're starting your mixes, you're starting your seeds. But it's okay if you're putting in it or you're transplanting to a different pot. You don't need any fertilizer, you don't need anything else, you're just starting the seeds. Remember, the seeds actually have the amount of nutrition that they have in their seeds, so that's why you don't really need to have anything that has fertilizer in it. Just a real basic, if you're going to buy something, you're going to do something small, this is a great product that I use all the time. And this is what we, is found in our big box store or nursery in our area. But take a look at this soil here. And so what I've done is I've taken all that reused and old soil, I've mixed it in also with some of this, and I also had a little bit of extra peat moss from last year. I put that inside here. And so now once you have your soil kind of mixed up, here's the most important tip that I want to give you that you need to pay attention to is with your soil, there is what I'm sure you've seen in your house at times with the fruit flies. There's what they call fungus gnats. The fungus gnats are inside the soil. They lay their eggs in the soil here and they'll hatch. So if you have some of this soil in your house, you're going to have these gnats that are flying all over the place. And so that's something that you don't want. It's hard to get rid of them too. Trust me, I know. So what you're going to do to kill off those fungus gnats is you're going to take a boiling water here, and you're going to just take that boiling water and you're going to pour that in your mix. Now I've done this a couple of times, but again, you can just kind of get the idea. All right, you're going to pour that boiling water into this mix, and what that does is that helps to kill off any fungus gnats or any kind of things that are in here that may not be really good for your growth of your plants, funguses, those kinds of things. Once that cools down, and mine's again still a little warm, but just so you have that idea, you're going to just take this soil, you're going to mix that around, and that really hot, you can see probably the steam here. You're going to have that soil nice and hot, and then that will kill off everything. Now, once we've done that, now you can take your container, whatever container you're going to use, and you can take your soil and you can put that in here. Now, I'm just putting that in here now. Again, you do not want to do this right now while this is hot, okay? Because you're going to kill your seeds. So let this cool off, and then you're going to put your soil in to your potting pot, whatever you're going to use. Now, here's a couple of great tips that I use here in my garden that work perfectly, okay? So you can recycle, reuse, upcycle, whatever word you want to use. And take something like this, for example. This probably had some croissant sandwiches that I got at Costco or something, or Walmart, and we're going to save this. Now, if you see here, you can put your soil in here. This will grow, and your root system will go, maybe 2 inches down, and that's good. And then we can transplant some of those. So depending on what you're going to put in here, you can certainly do that for sure. Just add that soil to here. Now, once you have all of your soil in here, then you have your humidity dome here. Close this. You could, if you want, put some holes on the bottom. I do not, because I just kind of watch it and keep it moist, because this, this top part acts as that humidity dome. So you don't want them to be too moist. but you don't want them to dry out either. So I use this. We'll put the soil in here. I'll put some seeds in here, and they'll grow. Once they start growing, you don't need this humidity dome anymore. So you could either have this open, or you can also cut that off and do it that way too. So whatever works best for you. So there's several different ways that you can do that. So you can use a smaller, like a sandwich container. Just same example. Just put some of your soil in here. Plant whatever seeds you're going to plant in here. There's your humidity dome. Once you have the seedlings start to germinate, then you can just take that off again. Okay, so those are some different ideas. What I have also used in the past, which doesn't work as well because it's, again, pretty shallow, but again, you have your egg containers here. Same thing, you got your nice humidity dome here. Put your soil in here. You can start your seeds this way, pull those out, and then transplant those into a larger pot as they get bigger. So whatever works for you. You don't have to go out and buy $150,000 worth of products to start your garden. Now, again, I have even used these. I did a video on one, and I'll put, again, the link below, but these are your Keurig or your K-cups. Put your soil in here. It already has the hole on the bottom from when you do your coffee, and that works really well too. So now you have a seed starting container. You don't even have to buy anything, especially if if that's something that you do, drink coffee or tea during the day. So that's what we do here. Now, I also will take all of my containers and I'm going to put these in this aluminum tray. This is great because the aluminum tray helps to not only transfer my pots when I go outside eventually, and we'll talk about that in another video on how you want to take your plants and what we call hardening them off. So you don't want to just take them and put them right into your garden. You want to kind of acclimate them to not only the temperature, but the winds and of course the sun. You don't want to scorch them. So I usually put them in these. Again, you can get these at the dollar store, or maybe you had birthday party or something, and don't throw these away. I have been known to pull things out of the trash. Okay, so I'm not proud. This works perfectly for me. So now I can take these cups here, these small pots, and I can transfer these here. Now, also, if you want, what you can do, well, I shouldn't say, this is another one of those tips that you need to do. When you water your plants, or even your seedlings, you do not want to water from the top. You want to water from the bottom. You want to bottom water them. So take out one or two, put water in the bottom, let it sit, and the water will soak up into your pots. And you're going to do that and maybe for an hour, hour and a half or so, 30 minutes, depending on the size and how much you have in there. And that's how you're going to water your plants from here on out. The reason you don't want to put water on the top is sometimes you'll disturb the seed. Not only that, but also that also tends to cause mold and fungus that starts on the top of your soil. So you don't want to do that at all. Now, once you do that, you'll start to see your seedlings or your seeds will germinate. You'll start to get these seedlings. These seedlings will start to grow in your pot, and you'll see here that I have a paprika pepper that's starting to germinate and starting to grow, a little seedling. And you're going to now, once you have this is the time that you have to have the grow lights. So we're going to talk about that again a little bit. Very simple. You don't need anything major, but you do need some grow lights that are fairly close to the plant. When you have something small like this, you want to have that very close, maybe about 3 to 6 inches, no more than that, when they're growing. Because what happens is this little guy will want to find the sun, and so he just grows and grows and grows and stretches out, and then this is what we call the seedlings or get leggy, and they're real small and thin, and they're not very healthy. So you want to protect those. So again, if you start your seeds today, some of these, read on the back of the package The germination period for some peppers is 10 to 28 days. So you plant a seed in there and it may take, 3 weeks for it to germinate. So don't be, upset or concerned if you planted something and you don't see anything right away. Second thing is that they need to have warm temperatures. So keep that in mind too. You need to have your seed starts in a warm area, maybe 70-ish, 60 to 70, 72, 75 degrees. That will help germinate them quicker and also healthier plants. Now again, you can see here, this is one of my onions that I did. And so you just throw the onions here in your container. I started them this way in my humidity dome. You can, excuse me, make sure that you write I always write when I planted the seed so I have an idea. So these were put in 120, January the 20th. These are short day onions, and so these are already starting to grow. So I take this off, leave this off, and then these will grow. As these grow, the onions are great because you can take these out and separate them and then put them in the ground or put them in a container, however you're going to grow those. So you're going to let these grow a little bit longer and larger. So that is a good way to start your seeds. Now, once you have all of your plants that are starting to grow and they're bigger like this, then you're going to go and you're going to start looking into the grow lights. So this is where I have some of my seedlings, my seed starts, and you can see here I have a little grow light. Now the grow light I purchased at Walmart. This was like $19, and you don't need to get anything fancy. You want about 1,500 lumens, and it'll say that on the package. But again, you don't need anything fancy. If you're going to invest in something, you can just purchase one of these lights for 20 bucks, and then you'll have all that you need. I also have a warming mat. That would be something definitely I would suggest that you might want to consider purchasing, because that will keep undersurface warm. And as we talked about, the warmer these seeds are, you'll start to see that they start to germinate, especially your peppers and your tomato plants. You're going to see that they really thrive in the heat and the warmth. Okay. Now, if you see here, I planted these January the 20th. I put the seeds in. They're just barely starting to pop. And if you can tell here, I used a seed starting mix that I was not happy with. I'm going to show you that. But again, you can see how large these particles are. It's just basically wood chips, and I was really not happy with this at all. But again, that's what I had, and unfortunately that's what we did. But again, you can see things are still growing, but it's not really the optimum environment for them. You can also buy one of these. This is, I think, a Jiffy 72 cell, and this is nice also that you can use this. You can see my basil starting to come up already. But again, there's advantages and disadvantages to all of these things, and depending on what you're looking for and how much you want. We're going to have to take these eventually and pot these up to a larger pot for sure at some point. And as you can see, some of these grow at different times, which is kind of a problem sometimes because once I'm pulling one out, then that can also possibly disturb some of the other ones. So it has a humidity dome here, so you can use that to help with the germination. So don't spend a lot of money this spring buying your plants at the big box store or the nursery. Try planting some seeds in different containers and see if that's a little bit more rewarding than purchasing something. Plus, it's a little bit better on your pocketbook. You can get these pots, different sizes, at your local dollar store. You can also purchase them online on Amazon. I'll put a couple of different links below if you're interested in looking to see what I use. But again, most of the time I just run to the dollar store, and I also will upcycle these. I'll use some of these from previous years, and again, I'll just kind of take those out, put those in my garden, and then I reuse these pots also. So try to reuse as much as you can and save as much money as you can this spring. And please subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. Hit that bell and you're going to get more of these types of videos. Spring is coming. I'm excited, and I think it's going to be a really good learning experience for all of us. Put something in the comments below on what you use in your garden. Not only just the different pots and seed starting, but also what you're going to be planning to grow this year. I'm really interested in different varieties. Make sure that you label everything that you're putting in these pots, because that's also a big problem. I've never done that before. Yeah, I've done it like all the time. You put there and you think that you're going to remember and you don't. So keep that in mind too. So make sure that you write that. You can put those in those little stick things. You can also write them on here too. So that's really simple enough. So thanks for watching. And if you have any friends or family that are interested in gardening, send them to the channel. Until next time, happy gardening.